Okay, so I think everything is officially set up. Let me just get my camera ready. And there we go. All right, so what is going on, everybody? This is Gabriel Jones giving you a drop of sun any chance I get. There's my hand. And yeah, welcome to a very special new live stream today. I had some difficulties setting this one up. I had to go live a few times, but I think that's par for the course for rookie streamers. But yeah, there were some changes I made to the stream. I got my mics officially set up. I was relying on the webcam uh, audio to sort of like project my audio. I was relying on the webcam to sort of like project my audio. So, but now everything should be good. Hopefully there will be a lot of people that tune in for this. If not, you could definitely watch it again on YouTube. I will just chop up the footage and then post it there. Today should be a lot of fun because we are going to be looking at my top 15 ranking of every semifinal 2 entry. That's supposed to be a 16. I forgot to change the number there. But yeah, that is what we're going to be doing for today. The camera is lagging quite a bit. Actually, no, it looks pretty okay on my end. And yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing for today. So hopefully everything is looking swell for you guys. I will be checking every once in a while to see if the webcam is doing okay because I want to make sure that you have the best image possible because y'all deserve it. And yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing today. Let me just check one more time to see how the camera's doing. It should be doing pretty all right. It is pretty laggy on my end. I'm using Streamlabs, but yeah, that's what's going on with me. So yeah, let's. Why don't we just get into the show? I am feeling pretty good. I got my cherry coke at the side, and yeah, let's just get into my thoughts on every single entry. Okay, so first up we have Reiley with Breaking My Heart. He is going to be representing Denmark in this competition. He was born as Rainy Peterson in the Faroe Islands, which is a pretty small nation from what I've heard. He became a star on TikTok, and yeah, it seems like he really sort of built up a following through that platform. He released his first batch of singles throughout 2021, came out with an EP the same year, and he appears to have like a big Korean audience. Like I was watching some of his videos, his music videos, and he seems to have a lot of commenters who are from Korea. It seems like he's really sort of built up a following within that country, and it's not surprising entirely since he's collabed with K-pop artists, and it really does have sort of like a K-pop aesthetic to it. His music. It has like that big, bombastic feel to it. A lot of like sentimentality within the lyrics and whatnot. All this lovey-dovey type stuff, and yeah, that's what's going on with him. I remember catching the Maladi Grand Prix for 2023. I remember that I chose Nicholas Sone or Sone as my winner. I might be pronouncing that last name wrong. I was impressed by the high notes he could hit, and he had like a defiant hit that would go like, and I assumed that like it would be like a defiant hit that would go hard in the 80s. Like he was built for that decade. Nicholas was. I remember I couldn't see the winner announced since my stream failed after Kalush Orchestra performed. But I was able to see every single performer. I had this streaming during the Estonian national selection, and I remember quickly clicking off once Reiley was done performing to see the results for Estonia. But yeah, he was probably my third option in that show. Reiley was. The production had a fierce beat and a tender mood. The booming bass, plucky guitars, and mystifying backing vocals also really impressed me. Reiley isn't too bad at hitting those high notes either. He can go like, "And I still to love you, but I'm scared of breaking my." He could probably sing better than I can, but that's the gist of how he sounded. And the song's about a failing relationship falling apart, and Reiley thinking that it was always doomed to fail. And yeah, that's definitely something that a lot of young people probably go through. Admittedly, the song is more driven by its sound than its vocals. It's like very bombastic and huge. It's like wide in its scale. It goes really hard with the bass. I think with proper mixing, though, it could perform well in the finals. I am hoping this song makes it to the finals, especially after Ready got robbed last year. Those girls are still in my heart. I really wish that Ready made it into the finals, but unfortunately they didn't. And honestly, Denmark deserves a lot better, you know. All right, next on deck is Future Lover by Brunette, and she is going to be representing Armenia in this contest. She was born in Yerevan as Ellen Yeremayan. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Ellen Yeremayan. She began singing at age 4 and got involved in musical events when she was 15. She released her debut single, Love the Way You Feel, in 2019, and she continued releasing new material in 2022. She was also a member of musical collective Project 12 and a girl group as well. She served as a member of the jury of the Armenian delegation at the Junior Eurovision Song Contest, which I would imagine is a really huge feat for her. Props to her for that. When it comes to her sound, it's very delicate and relaxed. That's the sort of like mood that her singing gives. You could really hear a Billie Eilish influence in her sound. It's just like very like tranquil in a way, but also haunting. And honestly, Future Lover is a powerful entry. It starts very elegant, but quickly picks up in tempo and intensity, almost like the song is fooling you in a way. Brunette's voice crescendoing is also an earworm. The giant bells colliding in the video was also really fucking cool. Like they just went like BAM! Yeah, I was a huge fan of that. I was a huge fan of that. And it's mainly about her dreaming about finding the perfect lover someday who can join her in cute activities. That's definitely something that I think a lot of people love to daydream about, when they have that special someone that they end up meeting at some point in their lives. I know that there are fans who are worried about Brunette missing the finals since she has the second slot, and I believe that's considered by Eurovision fans as the cursed slot. In recent years, anyone who has performed second fails to make it to the grand final, and, people are worried that she might get hit with the curse as well, or this alleged supposed curse. I think she should be fine though. I know the song has been very popular online. Whenever there's live chats for any Eurovision video, you see people posting the Armenian flag. You just scroll through it and it's there. So yeah, I don't think that she will fail to qualify. Between her and Rosalind, Armenia has a great track record of songs in Eurovision. I'm confident Brunette is gonna succeed. Next up is D.G.T. On and Off by Theodor Andrei, and he is going to be the representative for Romania. So he originated from Bucharest, the capital of Romania. He got famous through competing on Voicia Romania Junior, which is like the Voice Kids in Romania. And he made it to the semifinals, and this all happened in 2017. He uploaded many song covers to YouTube, released his debut singles in the same year. He also appeared in the X Factor, but didn't make it past boot camp. It seems that he really relied on singing competitions to really boost his profile. He, from what I've heard from his music, he seems to lean a lot into pop rock. I don't know, I can't pinpoint the exact artist that he reminds me of, but once you hear his songs, you could definitely hear a lot of pop rock stuff. D.G.T. On and Off is certainly an interesting entry for sure. You had a bunch of shirtless guys and women clad in underwear. Like with WRS's performance last year, Romania keeps giving me all these bi vibes. And he sings with an energized voice, especially during the climax. And of course, one of the more famous moments from that performance was when he had "Make Love, Not War" written across his stomach and chest. And I know that there are some people who are concerned that that could be read as tone deaf, since the song really does not have anything to do with war. And I think that's a little bit of a fair critique. I will say that I don't disagree with that. I will say though that it was probably that high note in the last 15 seconds that sealed Theodor the win. He does know how to hit those notes. And yeah, it's just about Theodor wanting to hook up with a beautiful girl and how much it kills him to not be with her. Very like pretty standard when it comes to like a lot of these like certain pop rock ballads. And after watching some interviews with Theodore, I could tell that he has a lot of ambitions for this Liverpool performance. He infused religious imagery, fictional references, sign language, and of course the anti-war message. Like, he strikes me as a teenager who is pretty in over his head, but he definitely has passion. I'll give him that. Um, Overall, I'm not exactly feeling this one too much, but it will unquestionably have an audience. Up next, we have Alika with her song Bridges, and this is going to be representing Estonia. And oh boy, am I really jamming with this one. She was born in Narva as Alika Milova. She competed in numerous singing contests, including Eesti Otsib Superstar. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And it was kind of like the Estonian version of Idols, and she ended up winning that. She eventually signed with Universal Music, which is, I believe, pretty huge. Released her debut single, Unin Number, which instantly became a hit. And she also formed a band called Casmus. I don't know if she's still with them, but, it seems like that was something she was hell bent on pursuing. And honestly, like, her music kind of surprised me when I explored it a little. It leans a lot more into pop than I thought it would. And that's like a stark juxtaposition to like Bridges, which is like a very elegant ballad. Um, and then there was the national selection, which I very much enjoyed because I accurately predicted that she would win. I am so proud of myself for having a correct prediction in the whole national selection season. Like, I wanted to get at least one in, and I did. And I also remember I had Malik and Annette and Freddie as my other two picks. Like, Malik, I believe I gave 10 points to, and Annette and Freddie I gave 8 to. And I remember that Ali was the fan favorite to win that one. But I think Estonia chose the next best artist. I know that there are some Estonians who are a little disappointed that Ali failed to take the win, but I think they should fare well in this contest. And it doesn't seem like a lot of them are too bummed out that their favorite didn't take the win. So I think that's good. And again, I am so proud of myself for having an accurate prediction. Like, I got one right. Yes. And Bridges, unsurprisingly, is my favorite entry. Has to be my favorite entry for semifinal two. The grand piano is gorgeous, the cello properly escalates the tune, and her voice is immaculate. She's probably the best vocalist to enter this year's contest, or at least one of the best vocalists. Like, she's definitely top three. Like, when she belted that note at the very last second, or like when she belted that note during like the finale of the track, I was like, okay, she's definitely my pick to win. The song may sound bleak, but it's anything but. It's an uplifting anthem about Alika taking control of her anxiety and extending that same hope to her listeners, which I think is very commendable. I respect her for that. The bridges are supposed to represent how she's reaching out to others to cope with her mental health, communicating with others, expressing your problems with your loved ones. That is definitely an important message to send to your fans, especially during an age where mental health is something that's really on people's minds and, something that concerns a lot of folks. They're really trying to figure out how to manage it better. And yeah, I am more than confident that this song will qualify for the grand final and maybe even finish in the top 10. Like, this is a strong entry. Like, I know that Alika is going to perform great. Next on deck is Gustaph with his song Because of You. Not a Kelly Clarkson cover, but still very good. He is going to be representing Belgium in this contest. And honestly, I find this guy's history in the music industry to be very intriguing. He was born in Louvain as Steph Sayers. He originally performed under the name Stefan. He's worked as a producer and a vocal coach, and I think he is currently a music teacher, which is pretty neat. I think a lot of his students can point at the screen and be like, "Oh my god, I was taught by that guy," and he's now entering the Eurovision stage. That's awesome. It's like his start in the industry goes all the way back to 2000. He scored his first hits, "Gonna Lose You" in 2000, and it peaked at number 22 on the Belgium charts. He had a moderately successful hit after that, but I think his career took a little bit of a stoop. He spent the next decade creating jingles and working as a pianist and backup singer. He changed his name. He officially changed his stage name to Gustaph in 2008. He produced music with Hercules and Love Affair from 2012 to 2018. I believe that was the group he was a part of. And he has worked as a backup singer for Eurovision twice, which is pretty neat. When it came to watching the national selection, I had a little bit of trouble since the stream was hard to find. I remember watching someone broadcast it on Twitch, but that went down, and I was like pretty out of luck by that point. Or I thought I would. I thought I was. But someone posted it eventually. I got up to Gustav's performance, and when he belted that high note, I was just like, okay, that's your guy. That's your guy. You know, when he was like, because of the yeah, I was like, okay, he's gonna win. Like, there's no doubt about that. And I remember I caught up just in time to see him announced as the representative, and I was like, yes. I was very pleased to see that he nabbed it. The song is deliciously queer when it comes to the house beat sounds like a 90s jam, which, you know, is perfectly fitting since I believe that was the era that he emerged from. I loved the backup singers that he infused. You know, that was pretty cool. Like, you know, those two ladies that joined him on stage. You know, it's kind of like, oh, I have gal pals with me. He sings about overcoming adversity in a world where people just want to squander him, and I think there's really something to that. I remember not too long ago, Gustaph was apparently heckled at a pre-party. Maybe it was the one in Barcelona. I'm not sure. But either way, I find it to be very gross. Like, if I'm gonna be honest, I am inspired by how Gustaph has become a veteran in pop music, and even though his career took a dive and he had to hide his sexuality for many, many years, he managed to achieve such a massive feat in his life. And yeah, I am definitely rooting for this one. Gustaph deserves his moments. I know that a lot of people think this might be a non-qualifier, but I'm rooting for him. All right, next up is Andrew Lambrou with his song "Break a Broken Heart." This guy is going to be representing Cyprus. Uh, Apparently, he was originally from Sydney in Australia, and he has a Greek and Cypriot family. That's the or Cypriot, I think that's how you pronounce it. And I think that's kind of like what makes him eligible to represent Cyprus in this contest. To give you some background, he won a music competition by singing Do Re Mi from The Sound of Music, and not too long after that, he enrolled in a music school. He saw viral success with his covers of My Immortal by Evanescence and Stay With Me by Sam Smith, which is pretty cool. I mean, you can't go wrong with Stay With Me. He competed in the X Factor Australia, but only finished in the top 20. And he later signed with Sony ATV. And through that record label, he released his debut single, Throne, in 2021. The bad boy, he's definitely sort of like the bad boy of the competition. You know, he kind of reminds me a bit of Zayn Malik for some reason. From the looks of it, he was mainly a cover artist before hitting it big in the 2020s. He tried to represent Australia in Eurovision last year, but only reached 7th place. The song he recorded for this year is for Cyprus, and it really does show off his vocal chops. He is a very strong singer with a register that can go so high. Like, he goes like, ooh. You know, again, I can't sing as well as him. The song definitely has a dramatic tone to it. It's about having a broken heart, but rising up and persevering. The singing alone could score him some big points. You know, he's definitely a strong vocalist, and that alone could impress a lot of viewers. The entry does have a real chance of making it into the finals. He could sway the audience with his looks and his voice. All right, with that, we move on to Iceland, and this is Dilja with her song Power. She was born in Kopavogar, and she competed in Iceland's Got Talent at the age of 12, very young age. She attended the Iceland School of Commerce, and she eventually moved to Copenhagen, where she would study psychology and music. Wow. The national selection was probably one of my favorite national selection shows to watch this year. It was incredibly vibrant and friendly and exciting. Siga Osk was a personal favorite of mine. I loved her cute 90s aesthetic. It reminded me a little bit of Carly Rae Jepsen. I was pretty much rooting for her to take the win. Although Dilja very close seconds. Like I definitely loved her entry. It was very powerful. But um, one moment that surprised me from this national selection was that I was shocked when the co-host fell over and Delia was asked to help him, or fell over. It was part of a segment where they would showcase the singer's hobbies and skills, but I legit thought he got hurt. So, like I was worried for a second. Um, and to talk about the song itself, Delia's entry was strong as hell. Like Jesus Christ, it lives up to the title "Power." The wubbing sound is intense, and it makes you feel your veins bulging. And the self empowerment is elevated by Delia's performance. Like the straining in her voice as she's entering that final chorus is just something to marvel at. This is a definite qualifier. It could finish with big points in the grand finale. Delia, you are definitely on my list of champions. All right, our next artist is Victor Vernicos, and he has his song "What They Say," which will be representing Greece. He was born in Athens to a Greek father and a Danish mother. His full name is Victor Vernicos Jorgensen. He began making music when he was 8, and he released his debut single "Hope It's in Heaven" in 2021. He gave his first televised performance for a holiday special in 2022. I don't know why I didn't say 2022. It's really weird to say the year differently. His music has a dramatic theme to it, and the guitar seems to be his go-to instruments. And yeah, that seems to be all the history that goes on with this guy. I mean, there's not much of it because he's only 16 years old. I mean, think about it. He was born in the same year that Hips Don't Lie became a hit. I am such an old man. Like, oh my god, I wouldn't be surprised if my hair starts graying tomorrow. So yeah, what they say seems to be Victor's big break in the music industry. If there's any song that what they say really like reminds me of, it would have to be "In My Blood" by Shawn Mendes. Like I listened to that song and I'm thinking this kid has to be a part of the Mendes army. It has some nice guitar playing. The stomping beat is a nice touch. It sings like he sings about dealing with anxiety that builds up as he keeps working on his dream, and I believe it's about him wanting to help others who are going through a similar struggle, which I find to be commendable. It's not too bad. It has the same sort of vibe as say Alika's Bridges. What they say are the thoughts in his brain that pops up. It's kind of like that's the they of the song. It's like his intrusive thoughts, I believe. The song has the potential to strike a chord with viewers, even though it doesn't exactly strike a chord with me. I'm not feeling this one too much, but if it made the final, I wouldn't be totally surprised. So, up next, oh boy, is a very, very special entry. I don't know if special is the right word, but this one has caused a bit of an uproar. Solo by Blanka, who is representing Poland. Okay. She was born in Szczecin, and her father hails from Bulgaria. She began releasing music at age 13, performed at open mic sessions while staying in New York and Los Angeles. She also competed in Top Model in 2021. Like, oh, wow. And she's currently signed to Warner Music Poland and it started in 2022. That's when her signing began. And yeah, this song, oh boy, this song has caused quite some outrage. It is by far the most disliked song in this year's contest. Last time I checked, it was at 16,000 likes and 166,000 dislikes. That's for the national final performance, and that is a devastating ratio. I think that might be the most devastating ratio I've ever seen for a live music performance in like any sort of festival or whatnot. And the comment section is full of angry Polish people. I remember one morning spending my time just translating all those comments to English and looking at how pissed off the Polish are at this at this selection. If I gotta be honest, I was actually rooting for Alicia to win the national selection. I really enjoyed her deep operatic voice. I think her song was called "New Home," and I really thought that one was pretty cool. I wasn't too crazy about Jan's Gladiator, but it would have been a much better pick than Solo. Or I think it was called Han. I am not entirely sure about the name pronunciation. But point blank, Gladiator was the favorite to win, but it lost to Solo. And for very sketchy sort of reasons. I remember looking on Reddit, people listing off the reasons why. There's a lot of speculation that the contest was rigged in Blanka's favor. Like he was heavily promoted by the TVP. One of her dancers are related to one of the jurors. The rules were changed at the last possible minutes, and they were very obscure when it came to the actual like televoting process. So yeah, a lot of stuff that raises eyebrows. But even with the heavy cheating allegations, even putting that aside, Solo is most likely not going to qualify for the contest. Even viewers who aren't aware of these allegations probably won't vote for it. It has a very pokey beat, bland lyrics about moving past a breakup. Blanka's vocal performance isn't even very strong in this tune. It's definitely going at the bottom of my list. I stand with the Polish people. Yeah, Solo, not a strong entry whatsoever. Now we have Carpe Diem by Joker Out, who are representing Slovenia. This one is a very fun song. The band formed in 2016. I believe it occurred in the aftermath of another breakup that Boan was a part of. But yeah, they had their first live performance at Festival Neja, I think it's called. They released their first single just last year. Oh no, sorry about that. They released their first single that year, the same year that they performed at the festival. They competed in the talent show Spielliga and finished in fourth place. They performed a ton of live shows in 2017 and 2018, and they released their first album in October of 2021. Carpe Diem, I have to say, is a welcomed addition to the second semifinal. I love the shredding guitars and the slick energy. It really takes me back to the alternative scene from the 2000s. And the song encourages listeners to look on the bright side of life and just live it the way you want to, because you never know when it ends. The lines are super poetic when you translate them into English. The first rain will wash away all the glitter, so it doesn't steal the magic from the dance floors. We'll accept that we're eternal and happy only as long as the sky keeps embracing us. That is like some very deep stuff. Like, I was surprised by just how well these lines were written. Oopsies. Joker Routes, I also have to say, is very fun to watch in interviews. I admire their effort to connect with all the other contestants and sort of like, joke around with them. I mean, they live up to the name Joker Routes. But yeah, this is a super chill energy. Its place in the grand final, I would say, is set in stone. I remember LPS when they competed for Slovenia last year. They ended up finishing in last for the semifinal one, which I was disappointed in because I was kind of vibing with that one. But hopefully Slovenia will see a qualification for this year. Georgia is up next. Their entry is from a singer named Iru, and her song is called Echo. Uh, to give you some background on her, she was born in Tbilisi, and she has Armenian heritage, which is pretty neat. She competed in the Junior Eurovision Song Contest with the group Candy, and they had a song called Candy Magic. I remember watching that. They had all the choreography, and they had this one vocalist who was just really letting loose with her vocals. And I was just thinking, dang, they must have worked these kids to death. Yeah, it's no wonder why they won that year. But yeah, Iru participated in Georgia Idol in 2019. She released her debut single "No Jerk Around Me" in 2021. She even won The Voice Georgia, hence the opportunity to represent the country. And I gotta say, Echo could serve as a dark horse for this contest. It showcases tons of strong vocals, especially before the final chorus. Like the breathing after the chorus shows that. Like she keeps having to take breaths while recording this song, and yeah, I can see why. She speaks a ton of gibberish on the verses, and I was surprised that that wasn't a word that translated into Georgian. She wanted to create the feeling of an echo. It's sort of like the feeling that you get when you love someone and it really hits you for the first time. I believe that's what she was trying to capture. At first, I was kind of having trouble understanding the song's meaning, but I think I've been able to decipher it. Percussion is very clear and booming. That's also very cool. Um, but yeah, this song has enough force that it could earn its place in the finale. I think Georgia has a very good chance of wowing the viewers, and since she's tactically a familiar face when it comes to the contest, she could really connect with the spectators. Next song on deck is Like an Animal by Piqued, and they are going to be representing San Marino. They formed in 2006 in Buggiano, Tuscany, Italy. And the band members all have these really cool little nicknames for each other. There's E King as the lead vocalist, Mario as the guitarist, Little Ladle for the bass, and the drummer is Holy Hargots. Yeah, it seems like they have like a real connection with each other there. Seems like there's real camaraderie going on within that group. They released their first two EPs in the early 2010s. Their first album came out in 2015. It was called Climb Like Ivy Does. They won a prize in the rock category at the San Remo Rock Festival, which is pretty cool. Peaked Jacks, I managed to enjoy a lot more than I thought I would. I dig their alternative sound. E King has a cool voice that's really fit for rock music. Wildly Shine was pretty enjoyable. That's one of their older songs that I listened to in preparation for the segments. And I was really vibing with that one. I was pretty impressed by Wildly Shine. I just wish I liked their entry for San Marino a lot more than I do. It has kind of like a sleazy vibe. Some of the guitar melodies are pretty nice. The belting at the end was an earworm. The song's meaning as a guy who wants to hook up with a girl at the club and then saying, I could smell you like an animal, baby, which I don't know if is like the best pickup line when you're trying to hook up with someone. Yeah, I honestly I just don't really like the atmosphere that the song possesses, and I'm ultimately labeling it as a non-qualifier. Sorry, San Marino. This next entry, Who the Hell is Edgar by Teya and Salena, is very, very enjoyable. They are going to be representing Austria. Uh, so Teya was born as Theodora Spirik in Vienna. She has a Serbian heritage, and she has performed as Tia Devi. She studied at the University of Vienna, has experience with jazz orchestra and musical theater, recorded her first song "Waiting For" in 2017. She actually submitted the song "Judgment Day" to the 2020 national selection in Serbia, but she finished in fourth place, so no luck there. She started going by Tia in 2021. Teya instead of Thea. And then there is Salena, who was born as Selena Maria Ed Bauer in Leoben, Styria. She took part in the Voice of Germany, but finished in the dual rounds. She submitted Behind the Waterfalls for Austria, I think a while ago, but came up short. And I believe that Tia and Salena most likely met each other through the song contest Starmania. I remember watching them cover Rita Ora and David Guetta on the show, and they seem to be pretty strong vocalists. And it's so great that these two ladies collaborated with each other because they really produced something splendid. The song "Who the Hell is Edgar" has a great sense of humor. The lyrics all flow with each other nicely. No filler lines. It really just feels like they're all singing this on the off the top of their head. The beat is jumpy, tightly constructed, and fun to dance to. I know they have their own choreography in the video. I haven't learned it yet, but hopefully I will. And yeah, it offers some playful commentary on how the music industry fails to compensate its artists, which I think is really clever. I know that they sort of take a dig at Spotify by pointing out how every single stream is worth 0.003 cents, which is not even a penny. It's less than a penny. Yeah, bullshit there. Glad that you're calling it out. Poe's last name is also great to repeat during the chorus. They really thought of an author that would be fun to sing about. Poe, 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 Pope. Yeah, that's gonna be sticking in people's heads years after the contest is over. Yeah, this one is one of the more obvious qualifiers in semifinal two. People are really connecting with this one, talking about it in their live chats, on Twitter, social media. This one, I think, is going to be performing great. Next up is Albania's entry. This is from Albina and Familja Kelmendi. Their song is called Duje. So to give you some background on Albina, she was born in Teya, Kosovo, studied the clarinet and piano at music school, played in a family band called, conveniently, Family Band. She competed in The Voice of Albania in 2014 and finished as a runner-up, not a bad position. Premiered her first song, Nuka Ma Mirli, in 2015, and she released her debut album, Nana Loke, in 2022. And it was interesting for Albina to bring in her family for Duje. Considering that she's performed with them before in a sort of family band, it seems that the Kelmendi family is really closely tied to Albina's identity or history as a performer. All the members have good chemistry together. It's easy to tell this song is dear to her heart. Like, when she sings it at live shows, when she, sings those last few notes, you tell that it's like hitting her emotionally. Like she's on the verge of crying. Maybe that's just all part of the act, but you could tell that this song is near and dear to her. And yeah, the song's about Albina pleading for her family to stick together, not break apart. I believe it's about the parents divorcing, and she's just begging for them to not let this family crumble to ashes. And yeah, that's definitely something I think a lot of people can relate to. Um, if I gotta be honest, I'm just not getting into this one as much as I want to. There's definitely passion here, but I guess it's just not connecting with me too much. Maybe it's because the emotion is being exacerbated too much, but I don't know. There's just something that I'm just not getting into. They still have a huge chance of making it in, but this one is just not for me. Again, I really wish I could have. I really wish I could like this more than I do, but ultimately, I am not feeling it as much. Hmm. All right, our next song is "Stay" by Monika Linkyte, and she is going to be the representative for Lithuania. I remember. Okay, so she originated from Gargsday. She originated from Gargsday. I believe that's how you pronounce it. She earned her bachelor's degree in public health at Vilnius University. She studied music creation at the BIMM Institute in London. Wow, so my girl is very well educated. She is book smart to a T. Competed to represent Lithuania in Eurovision 4 times prior to 2023. In fact, she even won the national selection in 2015. It was a duet with Vedas Familja, and it was called This Time. She made it into the finals in Vienna, where they finished in 18th place, and that performance was certainly a treat to watch. Monika and Vedas have amazing chemistry, kissing for much longer than needed. I believe it was said that they kissed for so long that they even missed their cue, and they were like, "Oh God, we got to keep up with the performance." So yeah, that was pretty funny. The song is extremely chipper, and the overjoyous feeling of falling in love can definitely strike a chord with listeners. To continue on with Monica's history, she released her debut album "Walk with Me" the same year. It was certified platinum. It won multiple trophies at the MAMA Awards. I believe that's a huge award show in Lithuania. And she came out with many singles throughout the late 2010s. Yeah, so there you have it. When it came to the national selection, I remember watching that one with my mom, and she guessed Monika correctly. Yeah, so mom's got the power to think. I was hoping that Paulina would take that win, but Monika was a close second for sure. I know that Luda Mur would have also been a wonderful choice, but I'm not complaining too much about Monika taking this one. Luda definitely gave me some queer vibes with that performance. I know it would have been amazing if they made it in, but I don't think Monika is too bad of a choice. Um, Stay has to be one of the best ballads we got this year. It has a warm environment. Her belting on the chorus is just beautiful. Like it's something to marvel at. Chudo, chudo, is a phrase that will stick with me for ages. It's definitely supposed to be a huge selling point for the song. The song about it's a song about dealing with sadness and looking for solace in a person who could help them. And I think that's something that a lot of people can sort of use at a time like this, where the world seems to be heading towards like an uncertain time. And yeah, that's definitely something worth commending. Monika's Stay is a super underrated. Monika Linkyte's Stay, I should pronounce the whole name. It's a super underrated entry, incredibly heartfelt. I'm rooting for this one to advance. And lastly, we have Voyager with their song Promise. This song is going to be representing Australia. The band originally formed in 1999 in Western Australia. The band members are Danielle Estrin, Simone Dow, Scott Kay, Ashley Dunecork, and Alex Kenyon. In typical Paramore fashion, they faced a ton of lineup changes over the years. They released their debut album Element 5 or Element V in 2023. Their follow-up LP Universe was a decent success. They won a Song of the Year award at the West Australian Music Industry Awards with Total Existence Failure, which I remember being very epic when I listened to it. They also launched a successful crowdfunder for their fifth album, V. So that tells you a little bit about how much support they have, even outside of the Eurovision scene. I remember they competed in Australia Decides in 2022, but placed in second. I believe that was the year that Sheldon Reiley won to compete for Australia in Turin. I remember really liking Sheldon. He was great. And for a metal band, they go pretty goddamn hard. Their song Promise has a big guitar solo as the finale, which I thought was very awesome. The progressive guitar, I believe, was also very neat. Danielle sings with defiance and pride, which was also very entertaining. It's about acknowledging that there's chaos in the world, but seeking reassurance that better days lie ahead, which is definitely something a lot of people could use at a time like this. Like, for sure. Absolutely. We could use some metal in the finals. Like, I am pretty confident this is going to make it in. Like, for sure. But yeah, those are all of my thoughts on semifinal 2. I'm actually kind of surprised by how fast I breezed through this because there are 16 entries, which is one more than semifinal 1. But while we're on that note, I actually had a much harder time ranking semifinal 2 than semifinal 1. Because when it came to semifinal 1, there were so many obvious picks. Like, oh, Karya's going to advance, Lorene's going to advance, Alessandra's going to advance. Like, there are many different artists you can point to and be like, yeah, they're going to make it into the grand final. But with semifinal 2, like, it's a lot more difficult to predict. Like, this one really feels like it could be anybody's game. Like, well, except for Poland's. But yeah, even the entries that I don't really exactly like definitely have a good chance of making it into the grand final. But of course, since this is my stream and I have control over what goes on in it, we have to do a ranking. So let's go over and see who I will predict is gonna make it into the final and who won't. Yeah, so here is my list of qualifiers and non-qualifiers. First up, with 1 point, I am giving that to Iru. I really like her voice. It's very strong. It's not something I'm totally into, but I can definitely see the passion and the effort put into that one. She's definitely a strong vocalist, and I can see her making it in. With 2 points, I have Reiley for Denmark. Iru's for Georgia, Reiley is for Denmark. I know that some people are not feeling this one, but I still love the production. I'm hoping that this one could really wow the viewers. I know that there were some technical difficulties with Denmark. It wasn't exactly strong, but I'm hoping that they repair all of that so they can really leave an impression on all of the attendees. At number 8, with 3 points, I have Brunette for Armenia. This one is the big viral song that everyone's getting into. And yeah, this one I think is very strong vocally. I really love how she sings at a rapid pace and those bells in the video, like, just hitting you hard. This one is very. I like this one. It's no Rosalind, but I still connect with it. At number 7 with 4 points, I have Gustaph for Belgium. Yeah, that's right. I ranked her higher than Brunette. Y'all can cry about it. But yeah, he's my little queer icon, and he is definitely going to be someone to watch out for. I think he has a real good chance. I like his voice. I like his energy. I love his attitude. He's great in interviews. Yeah, this one I am having confidence will take it. Yeah, this one I am pretty confident is going to advance. Joker Outs is at number 6 for Slovenia. They have 5 points, or at least I'm giving them 5 points. These guys have a wonderful attitude. I love their song. It's very slick, very poetic, a lot more than I thought it would be. And yeah, I am pretty much feeling this one all the way. Monika Linkyte is at number 5 with 6 points. She is for Lithuania. Yeah, this one I believe is going to be a real dark horse. Much like Iru. And yeah, I really love Monika. She's very beautiful. She is very talented. I love her vocalism. Vocalism's not even a word, I believe, but it could be. She's a wonderful singer. I like the chemistry she had with her backup vocalists. Chudo, Chudo is definitely something that really sticks in your head. Yeah, this one is a real a contender, I would say. At number 4, I have Voyager for Armenia. Or not Armenia. Australia. That's what I meant to say. They have 7 points. It's weird because I remember flip-flopping Joker Out and Voyager quite a bit. Like, would I place Joker Out at number 4 and Voyager at number 6? But I think, this one is has a lot more, is better tightly constructed. Voyager, I would say, has a lot of defiance in their music. And, they are very friendly people. I like the energy that they possess. It's definitely something that really gets the blood pumping. And it's something that I believe will really captivate viewers. All right, at number 3, my 8 points are going to Dilja's Power, which is for Iceland. It absolutely lives up to the title. Dilja is strong, with her vocals, and she really knows how to project that energy onto stage. I really loved her high kick during the performance. She was just like, wow, kick the desk a little bit. Yeah, she is going to be doing great. I am more than confident she is going to make it in. My 10 points are going to Teya and Salena for Austria with their song "Who the Hell is Edgar?" Very funny, very energized, and I really think that this one could stick with Eurovision fans for a very long time, even after 2023. This one is definitely something to watch out for. It's the most obvious qualifier, as I said before. And my 12 points are going to Alika's Bridges for Estonia. I am a huge fan of this one, not just because I accurately predicted it would qualify for the overall contest, but also because I really love its message about coping with anxiety and learning how to extend that hope to others and really communicating with others. Alika really provides me that hope that I sort of need in my life. So yeah, Alika, props to you. I think you will perform great and you will come out on top in all of this. And now to go to the non-qualifiers. Blanka, of course, is at the bottom of the list. Very unimpressive entry. I don't like the shady tactics that they allegedly resorted to send her to Liverpool. And yeah. And, it's kind of interesting because, with a lot of other performances like Gustaph and Reiley that get ratioed on YouTube, I think that's just out of personal disagreements over who the country chose to send to Liverpool. In Blanka's case, there's actually a belief that dirty tactics are at play. And I don't think that, people are really fond of that. Even putting aside the fact that Gladiator was the better entry, people just don't like being cheated out of something that they really wanted. So, yeah. I don't think that this is going to qualify at all. Piqued Jax is also a non-qualifier for me. I don't like its sleazy vibe. I do love the band, when it comes to their other singles, but Like an Animal is a pretty weak entry, if I gotta be honest. Theodor Andrei for Romania is also in this section. I think this guy is a little bit too ambitious over what he wants to accomplish with his performance of D.G.T. He is a good singer. You know, I'm not gonna knock him for that. But yeah, I don't think that he exactly has what it takes to qualify for this year. Victor Vernicos is also on this list for Greece. I was sort of feeling the song at first. I remember playing it a few times because, again, it's a song that talks about anxiety. But I think it's a little bit too moody, and ultimately I lean towards it being a non-qualifier. So, sorry, Victor. I hope you have a thriving music career after this year. But what they say isn't exactly gelling with me. These next two, though, were really painful to leave off the qualifying list. Albina and Familja Kelmendi for Albania. Oh, I mean, that family got spirit, like, for real. I really do like their energy. I really do think that they have a lot of camaraderie, a lot of, they really know how to work together. But yeah, it was just outmatched by some better competition. Albina, I think, is a very great vocalist. She really knows how to work with her family. But yeah, unfortunately, she just missed it by a hair. The same can be said for Andrew Lambrou for Cyprus. Like, he is also a great singer. Like, he knows how to falsetto, and he really sells "Break a Broken Heart," you know. And I do like his vibe. He's very beautiful. Yeah, he's a good-looking guy. But yeah, he missed it by just a hair, just a hair. And yeah, that is my list for semifinal two. Yeah, and like I said, this was a much faster video than I anticipated. I think the last one lasted about an hour and a half, but this one, not as long. I think just about 20 minutes short. So, yeah, that is who I believe is going to qualify for semifinal two. And those picks are now officially locked in. So, yeah, that was my live stream for today. A lot of difficulties facing this one, but I prospered, and yeah, I was able to give out all of my picks. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed yourselves. Are there any picks that you would actually put on the qualifiers list that I didn't? Be sure to leave in the comment section. I'm very curious to know. But yeah, on that note, we could just end the stream here. Hopefully, y'all had fun with this one. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on TikTok, and of course, I'm on YouTube. And that's where we're going to sign off for today. My name is Gabriel Jones, and the sun may be setting, but I hope you're able to soak up those drops. See y'all later.